Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I'm really excited you could join me today. I hope I come up with a good, nope, let's try that again. Hey there, my name is Linda. Welcome to my channel. I'm really excited you could join me today. I hope I come up with some good inspiration for you. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So for our wreath today, I'm going to be using this embroidery hoop. I love how white it is. I love the look of it. I think it's like handmade. I don't know. And I'm going to pull out the inner hoop of this, save it for an upcoming wreath, and off camera I spray paint in this Kills white chalk paint, which actually kind of comes out a nice soft white. I've distressed it by sanding it, even painted the hardware. So now we're going to go ahead and get this hoop back together. Then we'll go over the flowers we're going to be using. This wreath is nice and easy. So from Dollar Tree, I'm going to be using two bunches of these beautiful azaleas. Now all these flowers from Dollar Tree, I've not seen them at our Dollar Tree before, so they are new to me. I'm going to be using two bunches of these wild flowers, and then these next flowers are what sold me on the colors I wanted to use on this wreath. These Black Eye Susans, I love the creams and the pinks. They are so spring. I love them. Two bunches of these. And then for a little more texture, I'm going to use these paper flowers from Hobby Lobby. Now they're $11.99, but I got them half price. These things will go a long way. We're just going to pull off 6 things of these to use them in our wreath. So before we start decorating, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I do all sorts of DIY home decor crafts, from Dollar Tree crafts to Farmhouse to Rustic to primitive and even paper crafts. I post videos once a week. Sometimes if you're lucky, I post an extra video. But please go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video from me. Now this video is in collaboration with my sweet friend Nadia, who is DIY with Nadia, and her Wreath Wednesday series. Nadia is absolutely talented. I collaborated with her and a group of beautiful, talented women in my last video. I'll make sure I link that down below. Make sure you go check out Nadia's video for today. Let her know I sent you. Now let's continue on with this project. So I'm not a fantastic wreath maker. I can do easy. So what I've done off camera is I've done one side of my wreath because I can't just like throw it together. I have to like plan it out. So we're gonna put together the other side because I'm making kind of flowers and bunches to fit on half of a wreath. So we're starting with these wildflowers here, and then I'm going to put in some of these kind of long stem paper flowers from Hobby Lobby. Kind of, you want the longest kind of in the back. I'll keep kind of looking at my other ones, referring to how I put them together. Real easy in how I put these together too. You just kind of start with the long, you know, like I said, things to the back. And then I'm going to use all these azaleas. Now I cut all these azaleas when I cut them off of the stem. I cut them right at the very end of the stem where they come together, because when these are fabricated and put together for you, they're already arranged kind of short to tall. And so by keeping them and cutting them all at the same length, they're all going to look nice when you bunch them together. So I think here's what I'm going to show you. So see how they all come together at the end here? That's where I cut them all off, because see how they're already arranged kind of tall to short? That's how I cut them, so that when I put these all together now, they're going to stay looking like that, kind of tall to short. So made it easier for me. And then what I did that on both of these flowers and the pink flowers. And then as you saw, I kind of tilted the flowers forward a little bit. So as it's on the wreath, it'll, you know, look nice and face forward. So now I'm putting my flowers together to make sure the ends are all level, all even. Just like that. And now see, they all look nice in a nice kind of little bouquet. And you know, when we put them all together at the end, we can kind of rearrange them a little bit. So I'm just taking that whole bunch of azaleas and putting them in right in the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and come in with these other pink and cream flowers, and I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure all my ends are even. The wired stems are even at the bottom so that they layer nice together in a bouquet again. And then I'm going to put them right underneath those azaleas. I mean, like, so easy. And then I'm going to pop in a few more of these wildflowers just to kind of bring those forward a little bit. And then a few more of these long paper stems. This is the easiest and best way that I can do wreaths. Again, just checking how I did it last time. And then we're going to go in with some of these zip ties from Dollar Tree, and what I'm doing is kind of zip tying half of them at first. I'm zip tying the back half of those wildflowers and paper flowers because they have a shorter stem so they don't fall out, and then I'll come in with another zip tie and then bunch the whole thing together and zip tie them all together, because those back wildflower stuff were just not long enough to, you know, keep them all in one zip tie. Of course, trim off those zip ties, nice and easy. And then of course I can rearrange again and move things around and tip my flowers forward again a little bit more. Make sure this bunch kind of looks like the last bunch. Then once both of my bunches are done, I'm just going to kind of bend the stems a little bit. Off camera, I'll go ahead and kind of cut the stems and even them out, but I'm just going to kind of bend them to the shape of the embroidery hoop, and so I know where to put them. Now you can see that things are all, the stems at the bottom are all evenly cut. I'm going to leave them that long, and I'm just going to come in and zip tie them because we will cover these stems. Pull nice and tight on the zip ties, kind of arrange it a little bit, and then I'm going to come in with the other bunch. Again, a couple more zip ties here. For the easiness of this wreath, I think it turned out kind of pretty, and for me not being like professional at wreaths, I think it came out kind of pretty. Get these in here. I want to make sure it's nice and secure, of course, cutting my ends off of the zip ties again. And then we're going to go in, like I said, and we're going to cover that greenery. I have some ribbon here, so this one's kind of a tight weaved burlap I got from Hobby Lobby, got it half price. And then of course one of the looser weave burlap here from Dollar Tree. And then I've got some of this wired rope from Dollar Tree as well. And then I got this at Walmart. Perfect shade. It had that burlap color in it and the pink color of the flowers. Going to use a little Beacon Fabri-Tac glue today. We're going to just kind of glue down the one edge, and then I'm going to just start twisting around using the tighter weave burlap, twisting around all those wires to cover them up. I just thought this would be a little easier, you know, and keep everything in the position, all the flowers in the position I wanted them to be, by leaving the stems long and just going around and covering them up. Makes it look nice on the back side anyway. And then of course once I get it all wrapped around where I want, I'll go ahead and glue down this other end and let that set for just a minute or two. And then we'll move on to making our bow. So I'm using the Dollar Tree burlap here, and I've just back and forth pleated it, so I've got 3 loops on each side. Then I'm going to come back in with this other burlap ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and again I'm going to do 3 loops on each side. I'm going to make one big gigantic bow. And then I'm going to come in with this ribbon from Walmart, and I'm going to do, I think I do 4 loops on each side on this one. Just like pleating it back and forth here, nice and easy. We'll see how many loops I do. I was right, 4. Cut off the end, not leaving any tails right now of the other ribbon, the 2 ribbons I added on top. Then I'm going to come in with some scissors. So I'm going to hold it all together, and I'm going to come in about 1 inch on each side, and I'm going to make a slit. And then I'm going to bring in this paddle wire from, I'm going to move one of the tails to the back side through the slit, and then bring in this paddle wire I get from Walmart. I'm doubling it because it's really thin wire. I'm going to pull it through the middle of the slits to the back, and I'm going to pull really tight and twist it all together. Now that it's all together, I can come in and I can, you know, poof out my loops, and I'll twist and turn them so they'll stay in position. That's why we made the slit, so we can twist and turn our loops and put them into the position we want. And I'm just going to fluff everything out how I want them. I will come in because I do want some of that pink ribbon. I want some tails on there, but I'm going to kind of add it in different here in the end, as well as the wired rope there, the wired twine or whatever you want to call it from Dollar Tree. It's just kind of the way my brain thinks to add it together. So here is some big, like 24 inches of that pink ribbon. I'm just taking it down by the tails on the back side there, and I'm tying it into a knot. Nice, nice and easy, just like that. Now I have pink tails, and I'll trim them to the length I want. And then I'm going to come in with the wired rope from Dollar Tree as soon as I get this where I want it. And I'm going to loop it back and forth like 3 times on each side, leaving a tail. Just making them kind of a little bit longer so we can move around the loops of the ribbon. And then the one tail that's left, the longest tail, I'm wrapping it around several times in the middle. Kind of spread my loops out. And then I'm just going to come right in here, like right above the 2 bottom loops, and I glue that in off camera. And in that way, you can see here, I can just move my loops all the way around through the rest of the other loops. And then once that's done, we'll go ahead and just set this bow aside. Now we're going to make a sign for a wreath. I just used one of these wood planks from Dollar Tree. I just cut it down to size, and I'm using this Debbie's Design Diary DIY White Swan chalk paint. Just painting around the perimeter on the front, and then painting the sides and then the whole back. And now I'm just going in and distressing it once the paint is dry. And now I've cut a piece of paper to fit my sign here. I actually cut the paper about 1/8 of an inch short all the way around, so we'll get to see a little bit of that wood of the sign around the paper's edge. And of course here I am sewing that paper using a size 10 needle, all polyester thread, stitch length on 4 and my tensions on 4, just like you're sewing fabric. Nice and easy, just sew right around that paper. Nothing fancy to it, but it just adds a nice little farmhouse look here. And then I'm taking the open end of my scissor blades and I'm scraping along the edges, and this will add a little bit more texture as well. And now I've made a quote from my Cricut Explorer Air machine, Sweet Blessings Lane, and the fonts are free from defont.com. I used Will and Grace and Double Signature, and I'll list those in the description box. And then I'm coming in with my crocodile hole punch here. I'm just punching a little hole, and I'm going to add some wire here. This isn't going to be seen, this little corner, so we're just kind of add the wire through it, then twist it on the back with some pliers, and we're going to tuck it in one of the loops of the bow and kind of spread that wire around through that loop and twist it and turn it with our pliers so that we don't have any sharpy pokey edges. And then we're going to go ahead and add some glue to our bottom of the bow once that sign's in, and get our bow settled on our embroidery hoop, twist the wires around it, and then once this wire is fastened, this project is complete. So I hope you like how this wreath turned out. I don't think it's too bad for not being a professional wreath maker by any means. And it does also turn out that these colors are favorite colors of a friend of mine, so I think she'll be getting this wreath. Please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below and let me know if you love this wreath as much as I do. Also remember, if you're not a subscriber, to go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video from me. And also remember, Nadia's link will be in the description box. Make sure you go check out which wreath she made for today's collaboration and let her know I sent you. Now I'm going to leave you with a couple of things here. One is a thought, and the other is I felt like somebody needed to hear this. So if you want to stick around to the end, then this last part is for you. God is our waymaker, our miracle worker, our promise keeper, our light in the darkness. That is who He is, and that is our sweet blessing. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.